Okay, we are into our allotted time to present to you today, so I will get started. Again, thank you very much for being here. Welcome to our session. My name is Stephen McKenzie, and I am the Business Development Manager at Calgary, Alberta-based RoboGarden. You may be aware of us as it is our third year sponsoring the CAUCE conference, and we're thrilled to be able to do so once again, and we're thrilled to be back with you for 2022. Hopefully next year we'll be back together in person for 2023, but until such a time, I'm very happy to have you attending via this virtual session. So for today's session, we are going to be talking to you not necessarily about specific courses, but rather delivery methodology. Here at Calgary-based RoboGarden, we have not only been working diligently with CAUCE members over the past few years to build digital skills development courses that meet the needs of Canada's evolving tech sector and Canada's evolving workforce, but we've also been improving and building out our platform for program delivery in order to allow it to be much more flexible in order to take advantage of all the various innovations we've been able to introduce across a much wider variety of program types. So while right now we are primarily involved in delivering digital skills development courses for learners at all points on their digital skills development journey, we are very interested in working with CAUCE members to look at potentially digitizing other courses that they have not yet put online, or that may not necessarily yielding the hoped for results from their current online delivery methodology, in case that our solution may be more effective and create more successful outcomes for your online learners. So I'm going to talk a little bit about RoboGarden and our vision, our mission, our philosophy. I'm going to talk a little bit about the challenges in online learning that you and your learning community are likely facing and addressing. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the available technologies and programs before we jump into a demo of this highly innovative, proudly Canadian educational technology delivery platform. So who is RoboGarden? Once again, we are proudly Calgary-based, and we are a one-stop educational technology company that is involved in digitizing content and delivering it via an online learning platform using an interactive intelligent engine designed for adult learners. So the purpose is to really bring innovative skills and values to everyone via online learning. We know that this is still very new. It's obviously rapidly evolving, especially given the challenges of the past couple of years, but we think it can be improved upon, and we think we've found a way to making significant improvements to online learning outcomes, particularly for adult learners. Our mission is to fulfill the skills gap standing in the way of future career opportunities for all learning stakeholders. So really the idea is that we are building our platform in order to deliver new skills. That's really our focus. And skills that can then be applied in the real world in order to improve overall life realities for learners who are attending your programs. So we know more and more learners want to do online learning. We know it is more accessible than ever, so we want to help you do it better. And how do we do that? Well, we have a philosophy. And our philosophy includes learn by doing, game style environments. We're really focused on engagement. We're really focused on practice-based. We're really focused on case-based. So all of these various factors that can be implemented to improve online education delivery, particularly for adult education learners, and to ensure more successful outcomes for those investing in upskilling, reskilling, or whatever is their hoped for outcome from participating in one of your catalog of programs. So who do we work with today? We very proudly work with the University of Calgary, continuing education here in our hometown. Very proudly work with the Concordia University of Edmonton, up north in Edmonton here in Alberta. We love working with our partners at Western Continuing Studies. That's my alma mater, and it's a real thrill to be able to participate in helping grow their offering of digital skills content via our online learning platform. And we also work with Ontario Tech University in my hometown of Toronto through their continuous learning group. Okay, so CAUCE members are definitely already engaged with us and leveraging our platform and our programs for successful results. So I want to talk briefly about the challenges in online learning facing adult education providers in 2022 and beyond. So when we first talk about expanding adult training provision through online learning, obviously this has significant benefits. In particular, online learning reaches a much larger number of learners with a much smaller investment in education infrastructure, making it highly cost effective. However, for online learning to represent a viable alternative to face-to-face instruction, it needs to provide high-quality reskilling and upskilling opportunities that can translate into sustainable employment opportunities for job seekers and productivity gains for firms. And really the point is to grow the economy in general. There are a number of different ways that adults learn online. And so we've got to really address inclusiveness. That needs to be tackled to ensure that all adults can benefit from online learning, including adults with lower digital skill sets and limited access to technology. Adults requiring access not necessarily to digital skill courses, but really any kind of skill courses that they may want to engage with. Also, adults who may have trouble motivating themselves to engage in online learning. So by addressing all of the various limitations, we can help improve the outcomes of online learning scenarios for adult learners. We really have to ensure we're developing basic digital skills, which is really going to be instrumental to ensuring the success of online learning scenarios. Users of online learning are primarily highly educated adults these days with strong digital skills, and that's great, and we definitely are providing programs for them. However, those who are coming in much earlier in their digital comfort journey, or much earlier in their experience with overall digital technologies, they have to be engaged and their needs need to be addressed in order to fully ensure that online learning can live up to its maximum potential. Motivating online learners is definitely key to retention. We show through our research that the major massive online open course providers have a completion rate of as low as 10%. Obviously, that's not going to be tremendously helpful either to the learner or to a municipal, provincial, or national economy that's looking to benefit from learners developing new skill sets. We like to see that completion rate much higher, somewhere in the 75 to 80% range is our focus here at RoboGarden. So you've really got to make sure that engagement is a big part of your strategy for delivering online learning in order to ensure that your learners complete the courses. Of course, broadening the range of online courses is also crucial to making sure online learning is more inclusive. Mostly currently, it is white-collar type training that is available through online courses, whether it's project management, finance, data analytics, other digital skill sets. Really, again, built for and primarily available to learners who are very comfortable with technology and have some inherent skills or abilities that will allow them to be successful in their online learning efforts. So training for crafts related occupations and training for manual laborers or blue collar labor is also possible to be delivered successfully via online learning. And we need to make sure that those types of programs are available alongside some of the lower hanging fruit, if you will, of the digital skill type courses or the professional focus type courses. Um, Nationally, broadening the range of access is really important. We are starting to work now with a small college in Saskatchewan, for example, and certainly their rural community of learners do have accessibility and infrastructure challenges that learners in major centers do not experience. So access to digital infrastructure, especially high-speed, consistent internet in rural areas, is a big challenge and something that is not really incumbent on CAUCE members to address, but certainly in any discussions you might have with those who are involved in providing infrastructure, that's certainly something to reinforce, is to say, hey, to ensure we have equitable access to online learning, we've got to make sure that equity includes rural learners alongside urban learners. Teaching instructors in order to deliver their courses online is a challenge, and something that we're certainly addressing within our online learning strategy. Instructors who can appear like I am today for you in an online scenario and be effective that way, where there are instructor hours available in a given course. So it's online synchronous or online instructor led versus online asynchronous, which is fully self-paced. So certainly having instructors who are comfortable delivering content online is important and have prepared their content for online delivery. And that's certainly part of where RoboGarden comes into play in order to make that what content that might be kind of dry in real life, PowerPoint slides, handouts, traditional methods of teaching in class environments. The online world and the digital world provides a lot of ability to make that content much more engaging for the learner, and maybe even more engaging for the instructor as well. And so that's something that we focus on, and you'll hear more as this presentation unfolds. Oh. So also developing effective testing methods and certificates is important to ensure that online training is valuable in the labor market. Tests, quizzes, and assessments are becoming an important part of online training courses. They help ensure learning is consolidated and measure the effectiveness of the learning course. And something that we've really focused as well as really an AI-based company is being able to provide real-time reports to our partners in order for them to see exactly how students are doing at any given minute in a given program, and then to identify those students who might be falling behind and could use some extra help, or those students who may be accelerating and can use a little extra challenge and could take on a little extra content as part of their learning experience. And that leads, of course, to personalization of the course. So really being able to create an individual experience for each learner in the program without requiring heavy resources from a given continuing education, continuing studies, or extended learning unit. And then lastly, we have to have quality assurance mechanisms for online learning. And that's essential to ensure that online courses provide value for the money and time for the participants. So what we have learned at RoboGarden in our experience delivering online courses for the last 3 years is where we were previously reactive in terms of addressing quality issues, bug issues, student issues. Now, 3 years later, we can be much more proactive about addressing those up front. And we've really seen a decline in the need for students to either notify us of bugs that they note in a platform or in a course, or engage with our student support in order to help them get through the program. Just because as time goes on, we've learned and we've updated our platform and our courses in order to accommodate those learnings. They've been so valuable, and obviously that will continue. There are probably always going to be here and there issues that we didn't previously anticipate, but certainly anytime something new does come up, we are adding that to our list of activities in order to address it proactively for following cohorts. So some challenges that we know you guys are facing and that we have definitely recognized out there in the world of online learning. So at RoboGarden, how do we do this? How do we accommodate these online learners in a little more detail? Well, we are a technology company and we are an advanced, globally active innovation company. So we certainly do have the underlying technology, skill sets, expertise in order to create the kind of platform that is going to really be effective in delivering online content for adult learners. So what we do is we take the content from your instructor, we work with them to design it in a way that fits our platform, and then we start running it through the RoboGarden engine. And what that does is it updates the course roadmap, it creates more familiar layouts that learners are really showing as being effective for their ability to navigate through a program. We also do automatic grading with our unique point system. Then we also introduce our gamification elements. And for those of you who aren't very familiar with gamification, this is not necessarily about creating games, although that does occur, because certainly learning through games, especially digital skills, can be very effective. But it's more introducing the engagement elements of gamification in order to help ensure that the adult stays motivated. So that includes giving them points for successful accommodation or for successful completion of exercises and challenges, giving them points to continue to return to the program, so getting on those streaks, graphics and artwork that are very, very high end in order to make them feel like they're in a very pleasant learning environment, even as they're sitting in front of their computer or online device. And then even the storylines, introducing words such as missions instead of tasks, or adventures instead of exercises, or journey instead of course. So even just changing the words that we use can help create engagement and deliver a more enjoyable, comfortable online learning experience that adults will be motivated to return to over and over. And then RoboGarden really believes in practice-based learning. That's been a foundation since we got into this business of delivering skills development, specifically for learners looking to upskill or reskill in the digital skills area. So what we have is we don't just teach the learner a concept, maybe they do a test or two and then they're on to the next. No, that's not going to be effective. You have to have the learner continuing to repeat what it is they've learned in order to make sure that it sticks and they're able to apply it once they've finished the course and are moving into an income generating scenario. So we have a number of different ways in which we make sure that as the learner progresses through the course, they are continuing to practice what it is they've learned up to that point. So that's really important in order to make sure that the learner has successful outcomes. And also, if they are practicing what they've learned, what they've acquired, that's also going to build their confidence because they will be successfully completing challenges, tasks, missions, adventures, and that will make them feel good. That will give them that additional engagement incentive, and again, keep them coming back to the course to make sure they complete it, which is the ultimate goal. Okay. So what we mean by concentrated learning, it's the educational approach that aims at providing digital skill acquisition opportunities that result in a focused, high-demand expertise that will allow the learner to immediately leverage their investment of time and energy in income-generating activities. So what we mean by that is making sure that each course is going to achieve its identified outcomes. We've been through working with our partners at the University of Calgary, continuing education in particular. They've been so amazing with us and working with us over a number of years, allowing us to leverage their expertise along with our own internal expertise. We've come to understand that for online learning to be really effective, especially where employment is the goal, that the content has to identify a particular skill set that the learner needs in order to achieve their employment goal. So it's difficult to be an all things to all people type of course, especially in an online scenario, and realize the outcomes that you may be hoping for. So instead, the idea is to focus the content on the outcome that has been identified and make sure that the student is going to achieve that identified outcome. So currently here at RoboGarden, we have some online self-paced courses that are offered through the University of Calgary Continuing Education and through Western University Continuing Studies. We are currently focused on digital skills courses. So these are Python courses, these are cross-platform app development courses. We have MicroCredentials, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So we've been really focused on, so far in terms of content, on digital skills. And so if you are looking to add digital skills courses to your catalog, please connect with us, because we may be able to quickly fill gaps where you've identified the desire to bridge in order to introduce new digital skills learning opportunities for your community of learners. And then, of course, we also have our boot camps, which are currently offered again by the University of Calgary Continuing Education and Western University Continuing Studies. And these programs are 11-week or 22-week intensive online synchronous courses, where each week the learner has a certain number of hours with the instructor online, a certain number of hours with our teaching assistants online, and then they have a certain number of self-paced hours each week as well. And then they finish the program with both a capstone project and also an opportunity to work with our team to learn how to market their new skills, either to employers or as freelancers / consultants, or both. There's certainly the opportunity to do both. And we have courses in full stack web development and machine learning and artificial intelligence. So if you are looking to fill any gaps in your current adult education catalog with digital skills, again, we'd love to talk to you about the courses we can provide and how we can work with you to do that. Okay. So now I'm going to get over to the fun part, which is the demonstration of our platform. So I am going to start with our micro-credential offering that we deliver with the University of Calgary Continuing Education. So as you can see here, we have a very nice platform through which we deliver the content. And you'll see at the top, it's the actual course. So this is the administrator module, which has access to everything. So you'll see this card is for the program instructor to do setup, scheduling, distribution of content, and also track learner progress. Okay. Also launch live sessions. And then we have at the bottom of the screen, as we mentioned, in this card type layout, which is very current in online learning and in web and mobile app design in general, in order to provide the different modules of the course. Okay. Now, one thing we know is really key for online learners is that they need to have an orientation. And we've found through our various iterations of online courses that we've provided that we've been asked to and are continually improving our orientation so that the learner can come into this first module and access content regarding how to complete the course, how to navigate through the interface, how to access and complete the various challenges, tasks, exercises, missions, adventures that they're going to face. And they can come back and continually refer to this orientation so that they have the information they need to be able to successfully complete the course. Okay. You'll notice we even have a schedule for when instructor access to this course will be available. Now, this is a 12-hour micro-credential in machine learning that I am showing you right now. So this is all online asynchronous, except for we do have 2 instructor check-ins during the period of the course being open. So we tell them what they're going to be learning, their objectives, how they get through the course. And you can see that it's very graphically rich, so it really helps engage the learner. We describe everything that they are doing, even how they achieve points, how they access hints. So all of the various functionalities. We can even...
Welcome to the Machine Learning Foundations Micro-Credential course. In this video, I'm going to show you how to complete an editor mission. Editor missions are one of the mission types that you'll encounter as you work your way through this course. They are an opportunity to test out the Python code that you've learned so far in the course within a compiler embedded in the platform. This means you don't have to install anything on your computer right away. You can just try it out right inside of the course, which is called.
So that gives you an idea of how we ensure that the learner has all the information they need in order to then enter into the course and start completing the various content and exercises and practices that are going to get them to a successful completion. And of course, at any time, the learner is able to click on the module that they are going to be tackling. And you will see that each module includes an introduction, the content, and then a summary. So it's like I talked about, where we said we are constantly reinforcing what it is that they are learning, so that we don't just say, here's a module of information, complete it, then you're on to the next. No, you've got to now start integrating that learning from this module into the content of the next module, and the learning from the next module into the content of the following module. So it's very much a ladder approach, or as we like to call it, a practice-based approach, in order to ensure that our adult learners are going to have successful outcomes from their online learning journey. So then when we enter into the learning aspects of a given module, again, we have an introduction, and then they have some practices, and then a quiz. And so when we look at the practices, again, what we want to have are very engaging, very interesting, very innovative practice areas, so the learner feels like they are involved in their outcome even before they've achieved it. So this, for example, this exercise looks very much like what they will experience if they're out there in the real world looking to apply their machine learning skills. And then I can show you what the answer to this particular problem is. Now, watch what happens if I make a mistake. So I'm going to make a mistake in my solution, and then I'm going to try and run it. Look at that. So another method of engagement. So the learner makes an error. Well, we don't tell them call the instructor. We don't tell them search on Google. They're not stuck because they've made an error. No, that's natural, obviously, in the course of learning. So instead, what we do is we give them hints. So we identify, okay, you made a mistake in your solution. Here is a hint to get you back to entering the correct answer. So what we want is the learner to continue to try until they get to the correct solution. Because again, once they get to the correct solution, then they will have some congratulations from the system presented to them. And of course, as they continue along with their various efforts to solve the problem, they are going to learn. Okay, so let's do this. So now let's get the right answer in there and show you what happens when they get the right answer. There you go. So now when they get the right answer, they get a great congratulations. So again, it's engagement. And this is a little bit of that gamification elements that I described to you, where, this does kind of look like what you might receive if you finished a level in your favorite mobile game on your phone. All right. So let's go back to... Okay, and now we just have 7 minutes left for today's session. So I'm now going to go over to one of our other courses, which is our 450-hour boot camp in full stack development that is offered as a collaboration between University of Calgary Continuing Education and Western Continuing Studies. So we're thrilled that those two Canada Research 15 institutes have partnered in order to work with RoboGarden in order to deliver the most effective online learning scenarios out there. Currently, we are focused, as I mentioned, on digital skills. So, in May of 2021, last year, we ran a full stack boot camp. This was 11 weeks, 450 hours for 13 learners. And similar to what you saw in our micro-credential is we have the same layout for our full stack program. It's all about these cards that allow access to each learning module that again really reflect current design in online learning scenarios. So the purpose of showing you this is so that you understand is you could give us a course that you want to digitize or move online and say, I don't know, cooking. So we would work with your instructor to design that content that they have in a way that looks very similar to what you're seeing on the screen now, leveraging all of the various elements that RoboGarden brings to the table in order to ensure your new online cooking course is going to be as successful as possible. Or whatever it is that you are looking to teach to your learners online in a way that either you haven't before or perhaps you do have some courses that you are offering online, but for whatever reason, you're not seeing the successful outcomes that you'd hope to. You're more seeing those types of major open online courses type completion rates, 10%, 15%, 20%, and you'd like to get that up to 70, 75, even 80%. And that's where we can really help you. Okay. So once again, when we look at our 150-hour programs, excuse me, I'm just having a little technical issue here. Go. Each module has our overview. So once again, before the learner gets into the content of each module, they are able to get an introduction that prepares them for what it is that they're going to learn. So they get excited about it, they get engaged with it. Excuse me, it seems accessible to them. We're not listing out the entire outcomes of the entire 450 hours in this section. We're really getting it down to the individual outcome of this module. So it's not overwhelming to the learner. It's very much, I don't want to say bite-sized, but it is certainly palatable, if you will, in order to allow them to feel their confidence that they can take on the content of this module and complete it successfully. Okay. And let's go back to the main page. Actually, let's go into one of the emulators. So another key to ensuring engagement is to mix it up as far as the type of activities that learners are doing in order to achieve the outcomes of the programs. So what I showed you before was an editor type challenge. And this is now what we call a emulator type challenge. And what that means is we want the code that the student is going to enter into the answer box to replicate what we are going to show in this cool little graphic on the screen. So I'll show you what I mean here. So the learner can choose their answer. So they're going to choose this answer, and then they can also indicate their confidence. So the reason why we do that is to help identify learners who may be guessing it versus really having a confident understanding of the concept. Because if a learner gets the correct answer, but they're guessing, so they hit not confident, they're going to get a fewer number of points for successfully achieving this particular challenge. If they are somewhat confident, they're going to get more points. And if they're very confident, they're going to get maximum points. So the system will identify those who are completing missions, but with lower point levels, and add additional challenges for them in order to ensure that they are going to get to the point where they can enter their answers very confidently. Okay. So let's say I am very confident, and then I try my answer. And you can see how my answer matches the answer on the screen on the right. How cool. You're successful and you get 100% of the points for this particular challenge. Okay. So we have come up to the end of our presentation today. Thank you very much for joining me and allowing me to show you this next generation online learning platform built by Canadians with Canadian CAUCE partners and for primarily Canadian users. And we hope that if you are either looking to offer digital skills courses that you don't currently have in your catalog, that you will talk to us here at RoboGarden, or if you are looking at improving the outcomes from online courses that you already are offering or would like to offer. They can be any content type. It can be digital skills, project management, cooking, health and safety, healthcare, whatever the content is, we can help you deliver it online more effectively in a way that is going to create more successful outcomes for your community of learners. So this is Stephen McKenzie signing off on behalf of RoboGarden from Calgary, Alberta. Thank you very much again for joining me, and have a terrific remainder of your conference.